Smith's not as good a defensive fighter as I thought. He's been getting tagged by Audia thus far in the fight. Smith coming in, trying to work the body. Now Audia covers up, spins out of trouble.
Audia covered up very well there, and as I said, he's got more defensive skills than people might be willing to give him credit for.
Mark Tessman is the referee. We're midway through the fourth round. Smith going to work on the body of Barry Audia. That's good work by Tommy Smith. Strong work by Tommy Smith.
Some of those punches straying a little bit low, but that's because Audia was covering up fairly well.
Smith looking for the opening. Good right hand scored by Audia. In the meantime, while they're in close, I'll tell you, Audia has scrubbed his head across that cut of Tommy Smith, which is over the left eye. Less than a minute to go in the fourth round.
It's interesting, Audia has abandoned his own body attack in the last couple of rounds.
Here's the caution to Tommy Smith.
Tessman has been watching very carefully to see if any of those strayed low, and finally saw one.
No problem with that cut over the eye of Tommy Smith thus far in this round.
Best round Smith has had in the fight.
Sharp jab by Tommy Smith. Caught a right hand again. He's been open for that right. Half a minute to go in the fourth round. Seeing some good boxing here by Tommy Smith as he backs Barry Audia into the neutral corner. Audia trying to turn it around. Good round by Tommy Smith. Effective body work as we head for the bell.
Brilliant repair job.
Tommy Smith put the pressure on Barry Audia in that last round, and you are right there in the corner with him as he blasts the head of Audia.
Back to the live action, round 5. Scheduled for 10, our main event. Middleweights, both undefeated. Barry Audia from Pennington Gap, Virginia. The Pennington Pounder in the dark blue trunks. Tommy Mad Dog Smith in the light blue trunks from Houston. And Al's scoreboard shows Audia ahead, but it's close.
Well, I have given him 3 of the first 4 rounds. And Tommy Smith, however, in the last round, of course, I gave that round to him. He came back strongly.
Got a little closer, 39-38 in that second round. I called even. So close fight here. We're in round 5. And I thought what surprised me, Al, in that fourth round is the effective inside work of Tommy Smith.
Well, that's been the domain of Audia, and it's where we feel Audia will do good work. But again, here in this round, it's Smith who's doing the punching. Barry's holding on the inside.
There's some redness under the right eye of Barry Audia.
You know, Barry Audia looks tired, Stan. He really does. His punches don't have the same snap, and he's not throwing as many. It's surprising. We're only in round 5.
I tell you, if he's not in good shape, we will find out, because Tommy Smith has been testing him to the body. Really testing, ripping some shots in that fourth round. Good left by Tommy Smith. And midway through the 5th round.
Barry Audia, kind of an interesting story in that 3 years ago he was a full-time medical technology student at East Tennessee State, and he just quit to go into boxing with only 1 year left for a degree. And as he put it, that didn't go over too well with his mother and father, but it's a decision he made, and he wants to make his way in boxing. And he's always got that, he can go back and get that last year when he wants to.
Tommy Smith continues to land effectively in this round. Audia's had a tough time with him here. A minute to go in round 5. Audia has landed a couple of punches, but with less authority than he landed in the first couple of rounds.
And on the inside, it has been Smith who is doing the good work in the last round and this round.
Right landing on the top of the head of Tommy Smith. Those heads come together again. There was a cut opened up over the left eye of Tommy Smith in the 3rd round. It's been closed up pretty well by the cornermen. But with those heads banging together, it's in danger of opening up at any time. You see those heads coming together. Final seconds of the 5th round, our main event on Top Rank Boxing.
Today's cars do things.
Good example of the surprising work on the inside by Smith. There's a good left uppercut landing to the head of Barry Audia, and Tommy Smith turning things around.
Round 6, scheduled for 10. Tommy Smith in the light blue trunks has been coming on the last couple of rounds. After a good start by Barry Audia, again the heads banged together. And Tommy Smith complaining right now. He just walked away and said something to the referee. Now, I don't know if referee Mark Tessman heard him, but Tommy Smith was saying, what about that head in there? He's been banging several times.
Well, of course, Tommy Smith has been the one initiating the inside action in the last 2 rounds. So that may be, you know, it's part of his own doing as well.
I think Audia, you've seen Audia going down. He gets down and then comes up with the head when they get on the inside.
Audia is not punching as sharply as he was in the first 3 rounds. Not his jab, he's not using it at all. There was the overhand right again, countering the jab of Smith, but not as sharp as earlier. Audia has reduced himself to waiting to counter with the right over the jab of Smith. He's not throwing the left hook as he was earlier, and his own jab has been very ineffective.
Nice right uppercut got in by Tommy Smith. Again, I've got to believe that the body attack of Smith in the 4th round, and then again following up in the 5th, but especially in the 4th round, may have taken a lot out of Audia. Midway through the 6th round, Audia scoring. Audia not landing the big punches as he was earlier, but scoring. There's a good right hand. Audia coming back and starting to dig in with those punches. And a good left hook by Barry Audia.
And you said it, Sam. He's now throwing those punches with conviction. He's using his body and throwing not just arm shots, which he was doing for the last couple of rounds.
Less than a minute to go in round 6. Redness under the right eye of Barry Audia. A little puffiness there. Shoulders and head banging in there.
And now Audia is working the body a little bit. He was doing that earlier, and I know it was an important part of his blueprint, and now he's back to it again. There it is. Good left hook to the body by Audia.
Those heads rubbing together again. Less than half a minute to go in the 6th round. There's been no knockdowns. Tough contest.
Good right hand by Audia, and again, it had almost no effect on Tommy Smith, but in this round, Audia is back to winging those punches.
Final seconds, round 6.
The final battle.
In round 6, Barry Audia rediscovered his left hook, and there was one that landed to the head of Tommy Smith.
Live action round 7. We're at the Summit in Houston. Our main event, undefeated middleweights Barry Audia and Tommy Smith. Audia 20-0, Smith 13-0. Audia ranked number 15 in the United States by the United States Boxing Association. Looking for some more recognition. Let's check Al's scoreboard, see if things have tightened up a bit.
Last round I gave to Audia. I'd given 2 straight to Smith, so I have it 58-56 for Audia.
I got it 58-57 for Audia. We are late in the fight. And of course, as Al pointed out to me between rounds, don't forget, we are in Houston. This is Tommy Smith's hometown. You never know.
It has been known to play a role from time to time in boxing. We're not suggesting it will now.
Nothing flashy about Barry Audia. He's just one tough competitor in the ring.
He is at his best when he gets an opponent hurt. He's a very good finisher. When he gets somebody hurt, he goes after him with both hands. You know, Smith has done one very important thing in this fight. He has stayed away from those ropes. Though he's fought on the inside, it's been in the middle of the ring where he could dictate a little bit more and use a little movement.
Yes. Audia, after taking several body shots in the 4th and 5th, been able to get his attack going.
Right hand very low from Smith. Part of the reason those punches are landing low is Audia is covering up pretty well to the body, and I don't think it's necessarily intentional. Smith's just trying to get beyond that defense.
Nice combination by Barry Audia once again.
And that combination punching that we saw in the first 3 rounds has been sporadic for him since then. He's been throwing mostly single shots, Audia.
Half a minute to go in the 7th round. Right now, Tommy Smith looks like the fresher of the 2 fighters. We will see if it is a question of stamina in this fight. We're late in the 7th round. Round 8, scheduled for 10, our main event. Undefeated middleweights Barry Audia in the dark blue, and the light blue, it's Tommy Smith. Tommy Smith, who turned pro in November of 1981, fought 5 fights in 82, 6 in 83. This is his second in 1984. 2.5 years of pro, 13-0 with 6 knockouts. His last 4 wins have been by decision. Barry Audia 20-0 with 13 knockouts.
You mentioned a moment ago that Smith has never been past 8 rounds, and we're into the 8th round. Twice Audia has gone 10, so for him, he has been a longer distance.
I still feel that Smith looks like the fresher of the 2 fighters. However, he's not controlling the fight at this point. He's not taking charge.
They're at a critical juncture in this fight. I think any way you look at it, it's got to be a pretty close fight, and either fighter could, I think, assert some domination here and start to swing the fight. But neither is doing it.
A lot of holding thus far in this 8th round. Smith looked very good in the 4th and 5th rounds, especially the 4th, and since then he's let the edge get away a little bit. Back to the body he goes. A vicious body attack on Audia in the 4th round. We're midway through the 8th. There's been no knockdowns.
The things that Barry Audia did so well in the first 3 rounds, he's abandoned by and large. He's not using his own jabs very much. He has used the left hook to the body and the head. That punch has been there only occasionally. And he's not using the overhand right much either. So it's not the same attack from Barry Audia, although he may have won some of the recent rounds.
A minute to go in the 8th. Smith landed a couple of jabs here in the 8th and then stopped throwing it. There's that jab. Got a good one. Doesn't seem to use it enough. Got in a right uppercut.
Now that's the punch that Smith abandoned, was that jab. This is not a typical Barry Audia effort in the sense that he has not thrown nearly as many punches as he normally does. That's what he does. Now, for the first time, Smith is on the rope where he does not want to be. And look at how Audia immediately responds with good combinations.
Less than half a minute to go in round 8. Audia, who is landing the right hand effectively early, starting to throw it a little more here in the 8th round. Got in the left hook. Smith ties him up as we come to the bell, ending round 8.
Oh, my arm.
20-year-old Tommy Smith runs across the ring to meet 26-year-old Barry Audia in round 9 of the scheduled 10-rounder. I don't know about you. I've given the last 3 rounds to Barry Audia. Close rounds, but I've given him the last 3.
I gave him 2 out of the last 3. 1 I made even, and so that's why I have Audia ahead 78-75 in this fight. You know, Barry Audia, well, I mentioned beforehand that a win for either of these fighters could have gotten them maybe a bigger opportunity. But the problem is, I don't think either of these men has fought all that well in this fight. And so you have to wonder if the boxing powers that be will be impressed enough to give them a shot at a better fighter.
Audia landing a right. Smith, both guys are standing toe-to-toe. Smith has been a little low with his punches here. Digging the right hand to the body, trying to find that opening, but walking into a right hand.
And Audia responds with a low blow. Smith landed 2 or 3 left.
Low blows and headbutts in this one. Tough battle. Head coming forward and banging. Good right uppercut by Tommy Smith. Trying to find the opening. Audia not throwing enough punches. Smith landing that right uppercut repeatedly.
Well, that has become a big force now in this round. An overhand right by Audia, so they both pick up the pace.
Midway through the 9th round.
Smith's hands very low. You have to wonder if that flurry really took something out of him.
The fighter hasn't gone down from a headbutt.
A lot of heads banging in there, and the cut over the eye of Smith. They're not been a big factor. It's been close. They're both tired. Good body work by Audia. You can see both fighters slowing down.
Left hand got in by Tommy Smith. Audia trying to keep Smith on the ropes.
Smith's hands are so low at this point. You just can't get him up. Trying to throw those uppercuts. Takes a good left hook.
Smith working the body. Audia looking for the shots to the head. The overhand right scores. Bringing a rise from the crowd. It may have slowed down Tommy Smith. He's looking a little shaky at this point. With half a minute to go in the 9th round. That cut opening up over the left eye of Tommy Smith once again. Audia's come on.
By far the best round of the fight. And both fighters done good work inside. There's a double left hook by Audia.
Big punches by Audia. Smith's hands are down, and he's in trouble. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell as we head for the bell. And big shots again by Barry Audia. He won't let Tommy Smith off the rope. Big round. And into the corner of Tommy Smith, who took some punishment. He decided to go toe-to-toe. Let's listen in.
Both these fighters went toe-to-toe in the last round, and they both went downstairs a lot. There was Smith trying to rip the body of Audia, and there was the big right that turned things around with about 40 seconds left to go in this round, and then on Audia was tough.
Jay Dudley in the corner of Barry Audia.
Let's go, baby.
Undefeated middleweight from Pennington Gap, Virginia. Trains in Knoxville, Tennessee. 10th and final round. There's been no knockdown, but it was a shaky Tommy Smith at the end of round 9. They did not touch gloves to start the 10th round. They just come out fighting. Here we go.
And Audia starting out by ripping shots to the head of Tommy Smith.
Check out scoreboard.
I've got Audia ahead by a fairly large margin. I wouldn't go to the bank on the judges having it that way, to be perfectly honest.
Couple rounds close, but I agree with your scoring. I've got 6-2 and 1 even for Audia.
That's who I feel the fight is going, but some of those rounds are close. We'll see if indeed it goes through the decision.
Smith was looking good for a while in that 9th round, but then Audia just unloaded and landed some big shots.
You know, the last round is a good example of one you could score the other way, because for 2/3 of the round, Smith was doing well, but Audia certainly hurt him in the last minute.
And Smith is making a mistake. Standing toe-to-toe, I think he's making a big mistake with Audia. There's that double right. Smith refusing to back off.
Smith found he could land the uppercut in round 9, but when he does it, he leaves himself open, and Smith was responding with some good overhand right.
Audia has done a good job of blocking some of those body shots. Smith is trying to get through with the uppercut.
And now Barry's blocking that uppercut. Good overhand right by Audia.
With Smith right there, Smith doesn't move, he's in trouble because Audia is landing those looping shots.
Well, we finally got there. The last 2 rounds of boxing have been outstanding.
Midway through the 10th round, and Audia doubles up with the left hand.
And it's a combination punch that he showed us early in the fight. It's back again.
The Pennington Pounder. Barry Audia, double, triple left hand by Audia lands. He's got some stamina. It looked like he was tiring
Smith
5 rounds ago.
This had never been past 8. Sure enough, in the 9th and 10th, he has shown some signs of fatigue.
Audia right above us. Continues to pound Tommy Smith. Smith got off the rope. Less than a minute to go in the fight.
The constant pressure Barry Audia has gotten a little bit to Smith. Smith came back with a good
Big left hand by Audia, and a right hand follows up. Smith getting off the ropes. He knows there's serious trouble when he's on the ropes, but Audia has worked him over the last couple of rounds. Good rounds by Barry Audia. Big right hand by Barry Audia again with half a minute to go in the fight.
He's got him holding on now. That right hand really stuns Smith.
A wobbly Tommy Smith backed up, trying to hold on. His hands are down. Audia needs only some punching room, but there will be no knockout in this fight. Final seconds, and it is finished in a great last 2 rounds. It's all over. It goes to a decision. A tough battle by 2 unbeaten middleweights. They go the distance, no knockdowns, but Barry Audia finished strong against Tommy Smith. We'll be back at the Summit in Houston with the decision in just a moment.
Today's cars do things yesterday's cars didn't.
Please fasten seatbelts.
Their smaller, higher revving engines can break down an oil's viscosity within 1,500 miles. The tests show Castrol suffers no significant breakdown.
Sam Rosen and Al Bernstein ringside at the Summit in Houston. Our main event just concluded. Tommy Smith and Barry Audia. Cards have been collected, and we are set for the decision. Let's go to Bob Sawyer.
Boxing fans, here are scores from our judges. Judge McCullough scores it 97-93. Judge Salisky scores it 98-93. And Judge Alb scores it 98-93. He's still undefeated. Audia, right here, Barry Audia.
Barry Audia, the Pennington Pounder, has defeated the local hero Tommy Smith as he pounds out a unanimous decision and by a wide margin. Our scoring was right on the button now because the judges agreed all the way down the line.
And let's be fair, we mentioned this was Tommy Smith's hometown. That had absolutely no impact on the judges. They scored it, as a matter of fact, practically as we did. That doesn't make it right, but the fact is that man, Barry Audia, put the pressure on and deserved this decision.
Great finish. I gave him the last 5 rounds. I know you gave him 4 out of the last 5. Big finish by undefeated Barry Audia. He's now 21-0. We'll be back to talk with him in just a moment. Comes to you live on Saturday night, June 2nd, 8:30 Eastern and 5:30 Pacific from Skelly Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the Oklahoma Outlaws with Doug Williams go against the Chicago Blitz. Jim Simpson and Don Heinrich bring you all the action live Saturday night, June 2nd, beginning at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, right here on ESPN, your total sports network. What a finish by Barry Audia to win a unanimous decision. He's with Al Bernstein right now. Let's go to Al.
Well, for Barry Audia, it wasn't easy, but he won almost a lopsided decision, and they're happy back in Pennington Gap.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say hello to all my fans back in Pennington Gap, my family, and my Aunt Jessie, who's recovered from a stroke very well back in Pennington Gap, and my brother Roger, and my mom and dad. And I'd like to say hello to my friend Ronnie's wife, Valerie, in Texas.
All right, well, what they saw tonight from you, Barry, was in some ways a very typical Barry Audia fight because you put a lot of pressure on Smith. As we're looking at it, tell us how you got inside like this and how well you worked there.
Well, he had a very good jab, as you can see, and at first my strategy was going over top of the right hand, which was working, but it was just scoring one punch. So I started going inside the jab and working the body, which was a lot more effective, and I feel like if I'd have done it a lot earlier, I'd have been a lot more successful.
Well, you know, we talked about that. Early in the fight, you were going for the body. I know that was an important part of your blueprint, but then you kind of stopped in the middle rounds. What caused that? Was it just a mental lapse?
Yes, it's nobody's fault but mine. And then my trainer, Jay Dudley, reminded me of it, and I started going back to it, and it was pretty successful.
Now, Barry, coming into this fight, you felt very much that you wanted this fight to create some bigger opportunities for you. Was this the kind of consistent effort that you think could do that?
Well, that's up to the critics. I just did my best, and, you know, what their opinion is, I can't control that. That's out of my jurisdiction, but I wanted a big fight like this, and, of course, as everybody could see, that was a very formidable opponent. I've been, you know, criticized for not fighting nobody, and this kid definitely could fight, in my opinion.
Well, that's for sure. Tommy Smith did fight pretty well. Whatever the critics may have to say, Barry Audia comes away from this fight with a win. Let's go back to Sam Rosen.
Good win for Barry Audia, a unanimous decision victory over Tommy Smith, and Audia now 21-0. I think we'll see him again. We'll see you again in just a moment. Stay with us on Top Rank Boxing. Is undefeated middleweight Barry Audia from Pennington Gap, Virginia. He's coming into a big fight, and Al has a look at Barry Audia.
Barry Audia makes his 4th appearance on Top Rank Boxing tonight, and he believes it's his most important. The last time out, the 25-year-old Audia faced quick-punching Tommy Smith. The long and lean Texan used that hand speed early, as we see him doing here in round 4. His combinations kept Audia at bay and on the end of his punches. Smith had his flurries throughout the fight, even as late as the 9th round. He ripped uppercuts to the head and body of Audia and delighted the Texas fans. Audia is known for his persistence, and he kept after Smith throughout. By the end of the 9th, Barry was landing big shots, showing why he's called the Pennington Pounder. He carried the momentum into the final round, and he pressured a tired Tommy Smith. Audia finished strongly, banging this right hand off the top of the head of Smith, and finishing with a rush. He had to go the distance, but he came away with a win to set up tonight's big match with Giovanni Bavenzi here in Atlantic City.
25-year-old Barry Audia from Pennington Gap, Virginia. When he gets set to train, he heads for Knoxville, Tennessee. And that's where he spent the last 3 weeks under the tutelage of Jay Dudley. And there is Giovanni Bavenzi. Here's a man who also turned his career around in May when he came back after a 22-month layoff. Al has a look at Giovanni Bavenzi.
Giovanni Bavenzi resurrected his boxing career from a 22-month layoff with a crisp performance against Kenny Whetstone on May 3rd. Bavenzi surprised Whetstone with his hand speed and power early in the fight. He moved Whetstone around the ring. Muscled Kenny on the inside here in round 4, and that's not an easy task because Kenny Whetstone is one of the stronger middleweights on the inside. Though he came in as a big underdog by the 7th, Bavenzi was in control, and he put Whetstone down. That was the beginning of the end for Whetstone, and Bavenzi showed great finishing power. He ripped combinations to the body and the head, and put Kenny in big trouble. When Larry Hazard stepped in, it gave Bavenzi a new lease on his boxing life and put him into tonight's match with undefeated Barry Audia.
Well, I'm not worried, you know, I'm just going to go there and do my thing, you know what I mean? I'm not worried about, you know, the guy being undefeated or nothing. I'm just going to take my time, and when the right shot connects, then I'm going to try to put him out.
And we are set for our co-feature, and the man who is featured in Al Bernstein's column in KO Magazine, Michael Buffer, is set for the introduction.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Resorts International Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey, let's get ready to rumble with more middleweight action. This bout scheduled for 10 rounds. The referee is Paul Vente. And now introducing first in the red corner, wearing the black trunks with burgundy trim, he weighs 159 pounds even. Originally from Cielo, Italy, now fighting out of Vineland, New Jersey. His professional record, 13-7-1, 7 by knockout.